I've spent my 20s being completely lost and confused about what I really wanted to do. So I stuck to a stable and secure job, a job that I studied in college for but wasn't really that interested in. And it was only in my 30s that I realized all that time was basically wasted. If you don't want to repeat my mistakes, if you want to find a truly fulfilling career without wasting much time, but you're unsure about what your passion is, then this episode is for you. First, we'll talk about 6 common factors that most people consider in their career choices but are just wasting their time. Then we'll discuss 5 unusual but super important questions you really should be considering. So let's get started. First factor you should just throw out the door is what your parents want. Sure, most parents want the best for their children, but right now is the time that you make decisions completely independent of your parents. Personally, I've seen it on both ends. Some people are really rebellious against their parents, while others are still very eager to please their parents and prove something to them. But either way is not great because you're letting your parents' opinions sway you in one way or the other. Second factor you should not consider is just what fields or what jobs you're familiar with. Sometimes we grow up being very familiar with a specific field, either because our parents and family are always in it, or because we've taken odd jobs in it. So we grow up thinking that this is probably the natural path for us as well. But I challenge you to think beyond that. This is the time to expand your imagination, explore some unknown fields and jobs, and most importantly, dig deeper into yourself to see what else is there. Third factor you should absolutely not consider is what your friends are all doing. A lot of times, if we're unsure about what we really want, we tend to follow the influences from our friends. We are the average of the people that we hang out with, so it is very easy to be swayed by the people around you, especially if you like them or you look up to them. I saw this a lot with startups where young people tend to band together for a risky startup just because there's a group of them doing it. But you really need to think about what career suits you personally. Fourth factor you should probably throw out is what you've studied or what you've been studying. This sounds counterintuitive, but if you feel like you've been studying the wrong thing, now is the time to change. Even if you've taken most of the courses and you've invested so much in it, trust me, if you don't change now, you will waste much more effort and time down the line. Your early 20s is absolutely not too late. Your 30s and 40s might be, so right now is the time to change a major. Fifth factor you should completely ignore is your momentary curiosities. These are your passing but burning interests, things that are super popular in the job market, recruiting market right now. Examples vary from finance and consulting back 10 years ago, data science and product management a few years back, to AI right now. These trends will probably change, and you have to face that your interest might change with it. And finally, the sixth factor you should not waste time considering is the fancy title or large salary that comes with a job. This is related to the previous point where if a job sounds great on the surface, it's well respected and well regarded by our society now, or it just earns a lot of money, but you don't find any intrinsic interest in it, then don't go for it. If all you like about a job is its title or the pay, then you're gonna find yourself miserable at that job. Okay, now let's talk about 5 questions you should be considering and how they can help you dig deeper into yourself. What is something that makes you forget about time, food, and pain? This question sounds oddly specific, but it is super helpful. Notice the next time that you're doing something that puts you completely in the zone and makes you forget about passing time. Or reflect on your experience growing up. What were the activities that you loved doing so much you lost yourself in it? For me, an example would be editing music or videos. I know a lot of people don't like editing, but for me, I get very into editing and I tend to forget to get up from my chair or even go eat or go to the bathroom if I don't finish editing a video. When you work professionally, you will be pouring in large swaths of your time and energy. So your work has to be something that you love spending time on. If not, time is going to pass by super slowly and you're going to be distracted by every little thing going on around you, from food to social media to gossip to coffee breaks. You won't be able to concentrate, and in the long run, you won't be able to excel at that job. So save yourself the trouble and start with something that you love passing time doing. It doesn't have to be something that you're really good at already, because even if you're bad at it, if you like the process of doing it, you will improve very quickly. What did you love doing when you were a child? What was your dream job? If you are currently unclear about what your passions are, it might be because your own voice and originality has been clouded out by outside voices. You've been following for too long what other people have been telling you you should do. You should excel at school, get good grades, earn that first dollar fast, do something useful, do something safe, but you need to get back to what your heart truly desires. To do that, the best way is to return to the period when you were a child and you were uninfluenced from outside opinions. What were your first personality traits? What were you drawn to when you were a kid? Were you very social and talkative and you always wanted to play with your friends? Or did you always prefer playing alone? Did you enjoy drawing or storytelling or playing with Legos? Although people do change, the things that we loved when we were kids are often interests of our true selves, ourselves before we were tainted by family or social pressures. So try to follow that instinct. What work setting would make you happy? What are your hours and who are you with? These might sound like trivial lifestyle questions, but I can assure you they are way more important than you think. When you start working, you will be spending most of your precious time at your workplace. You might get 3 to 5 weeks of vacation per year, so your work has to come with a lifestyle that you are happy with. Otherwise, you'll be surprised by the daily realities of that job. So ask these questions: will you be working alone or with other people? Who are these other people you'll be working with? What is your office going to be like? What are the hours? Is it going to be mostly indoors or outdoors? Active or inactive? Mostly communicative or mostly silent? For me, for example, something I didn't like about being an accountant was that most of the time I was working in my room remotely from my team. But I'm someone who loves talking to people. I love collaborating with people, explaining things to people, or just being creative with people. So think about what is a typical day like for your profession. What are the tasks that you'll be spending most of your time doing? You can get a lot of ideas through talking to people in that field right now, or you can also watch videos of day in the life to learn more about that profession. Who are you jealous of for their job or accomplishment? When I was younger, I really looked up to teachers and artists. I thought just how fun would it be to have so much time and freedom doing a job that you really love and not always be told by people around you what to do. So which adults do you look up to in your life? Which ones make you wish that you have their lives? Maybe you can't wait to be like them? Or maybe you're even a little bit jealous of their achievements? This can also be someone who's slightly older than you. The next time you feel jealous of their accomplishment or position, or even their Instagram posts, ask yourself what about it is so attractive to you? What is it that you wish you had for yourself, and how can you achieve that for your own life? Jealousy is not a good emotion, but it can be a very useful road sign that points you towards what you personally desire in your life. What is a small action you've always been doing for free? This question is super underrated because it's asking you to catch something you might have missed about yourself. Here's the thing, most people have something that they like to help their close family and friends with. It doesn't have to be a serious and hard task or a hobby, it can just be a small gesture. Things like baking a cake for birthdays, giving people a ride, or explaining to someone the plot of a movie. Like, I know one of my friends really likes to give fashion advice, so if I'm shopping or going to an event, I would ask her for advice on my outfit. These are the small things that you might not have noticed you've always been doing. So you might have to ask your parents or family and friends, like, hey, is there something I always do that you really appreciate? And you might be surprised by their answers. Doing these things are very easy and natural to you, so you tend to do them without noticing or asking anything in return. So, these things might be very indicative of what type of work you'll find truly fun and fulfilling. So I hope these questions gave you some ideas. I highly recommend writing them down if any interesting ideas pop up. Remember not to limit your imagination and not to shut down any ideas just because they might seem unrealistic. You never know until you look into it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today, and I will catch you next time. Bye.